In today's video, we're going to be watching a Silver 4 Doomfist. Now, I just like watching Doom sometimes. Description: I am a dedicated Doomfist main because his movement is a ton of fun. I feel like I'm decent, but I do get over-aggressive at times. There are a lot of times I just fed the enemy's L charge trying to get kills. Oh, all right. I'd say it's a bit aggressive. Because of me playing Doom, they picked every counter to him. Zen, Sombra, Orisa, and they had a Bastion. So it was a struggle, but I still feel like I did pretty well. I would appreciate some feedback. Feel free to roast. Sorry, I had to say it loud because it was in all capitals. Me. I know I'm silver for a reason. Also, I play on 1.15 cents on 1600 DPI. And yes, I realize that's really low, especially for Doomfist. I have to use 2 feet of mousepad space to play. All right, well, let's see how this one goes. Let's see. So yeah, the comp they're going to be playing is already going to be difficult for Doom. So it's very interesting because they want some tips, but they also are playing against that comp. So I want to see how it goes. Hey, he killed a sim turret. Not only one of them though. The other one top left doesn't matter apparently. But that one on the right, that one's the one you got to get. So far, not bad. Playing it slow. Kill both the sim turrets though. I mean, so far you've been patient, you've been playing fine, but like, I feel like the first fights will be fine because they haven't quite made those hero adjustments yet, but once they make those hero adjustments, now I'm curious. Okay, they got the Sombra already. Already, by the way, they got the Sombra. I'm just saying. So we'll see. Oh, the button, thanks you 11 months. Thanks, appreciate it. So now they're on the Sombra. Haven't even gotten to the Orisa yet. How are you going to play as Doom here is the question. Good start for your team. I actually will say, so far the Doom, movement's been pretty good. Like, I haven't seen much of an issue with that. So far, at least. Like, you've been playing Doom pretty well. I mean, and that's my take. I do think that if they go, a full counter comp on you, it might become a little bit more difficult for you. Because, it can be tough, but I've been saying, I've been seeing Doom popping off in top 500. Really good Dooms, even against some of these, really tough counter comps. So it's possible. It just depends how you play against it, right? But you seem to have a general idea of, as I say that, you go into their team. Which, it feels like... Oh, yeah. Thankfully, there's a Lifeweaver tree there, which I guess you can be aggressive when that's there. And so far, it's been pretty good. This is silver. It's been pretty good Doomfist gameplay. I mean, it's funny so far because I've actually watched a few Doomfist now in Silver. I really feel like players who just play Doomfist, even in Silver here, we're watching, they just have, this really good understanding of the mechanics and what they want to do, and their movement is good. I think we watched another Silver Doomfist recently, and a lot of games on Doomfist also, and, they're in Silver, but they're also good at Doom. It's just, it's going to take a bit to kind of, look at counter comps and how to play around it, and, what your decision making is, when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive. The mechanics seem pretty solid at times. At least that's what I've seen so far by watching this. Now, how are you going to use your ult here? Are you going to use it to engage in? Oh, wait. If you can get another bubble out, I'd say... That was a good pull. I also love how the Junkrat kind of saved the Zenyatta by booping him up into the air so you get no value on, your ult. What happened to the Zen? I'll show you what happened to the Zen. So as Doom was engaging in with the ult, unless I'm not seeing this correctly, the Junkrat was kind enough to throw a mine at them for you to boop them up into the air. See? So the Junkrat was kind enough to launch the Zenyatta in the air during the Doom's ultimate, so it was harder to be able to get the Zen when they were out of position on top of the other hero. Which resulted in having less of value on that play. I'll head back a little bit forward now. That's what happened. Yep. That's what you're supposed to do. That's a Sombra. That is about as unlucky as it gets. Honestly, chat, why was there a Junkrat trap right there in that doorway specifically at this point in the map? I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know when the Junkrat put that there. That could have been there from like a minute and a half ago for all we know. I can't believe that was even there to begin with. And it actually worked out perfectly. They tossed that Junkrat trap probably on first point attack. So far in Doom, you're not playing too bad though, I'd say. Like I said, your mechanics are definitely there. I think a lot of it will come down to your decision making and what you, oh, that was about, you were about to go off that map. That was very close. I definitely engage in now. Oh, you can engage that, 100%. Okay, there's no way, wait. Translocator was just, did they just throw it behind you? Maybe I didn't see that right. Yeah, they did. They went behind you. Or maybe above on the high ground, like they're... I mean, so far, so far watching your Doomfist right now, and this is before they switched to Orisa and things like that, like, I still say that you have good mechanics on Doom. It's really going to come down to your decision-making on stuff and how quickly you make that decision. For example, you could have killed that Bastion, and I'm not saying that, like, it's a bad play to wait for your teammate to get the Bastion, but, like, those are the type of situations where you're playing Bastion, right? And then, or you're playing Doom, you don't go for that Bastion, your Cassidy goes for the Bastion by themselves, and then the Bastion hits a random right click on the cast, kills your cast, you go to kill the Bastion now, Bastion has turret form again, gets pulled back by the other team or healed by the other team, and then guess what happens? Like, that's why, like, when you're playing Doom there and you have that advantage and you know that you can go and get that Olymp, because otherwise, there's things like that can happen and you're just gonna be like, wow, we could have killed the Bastion there. And then it didn't go that way. But that's why, like, you want to be quicker on that decision, because otherwise that can happen. All right, here we go. So what was that? Did you just use your block right at their spawn doors? Dude, these Junkrat traps have been top tier. Excuse you? Ooh! That life grip might have saved you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What are you gonna do? Don't go in? Play on the outside of the map? Go in? All right. That felt like you just cared more about the ult charge and maybe able to survive that for a retake. So the other team isn't running Sombra now? I imagine they will at some point. Like, it sounds like there's gonna be a point in this game where they make those swaps, and then that's where it can become really difficult. So what's the play here? Okay. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go high ground? You're gonna play low ground? Okay, not bad. Whoa. We're watching. So far, it's been fine. So far. Your team just kind of getting rolled now. And, like, this is a lot. This is, like, your team getting rolled now also is because King's Row is one of these maps that can snowball here when you aren't running, like, one of those more, like, less... Your team comp is more just kind of trying to deathmatch it. So the other team gets a good snowball going, they will absolutely dominate it. But your team is very deathmatch heavy right now. Like, there's no... And the other team, you could argue, has a very similar one, but, like, D.Va can play with the team a little bit more. And this is where it can be difficult for your team to get any value. As I say that, your Junkrat mines the Widow. Yeah. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. Why'd you just leave the Brig there? I'm confused. All right, well, you know what? The Brig got to survive that for a while. That was interesting. You're like, oh, the Brig's in this Junkrat trap. I'm gonna do one right click and then just leave. All right, you have your ult in 30. Okay, you don't get... Wait. Cassidy. Oh, right click. Nice. Nice play. That was a really good play for your team. That was very well played. Nice job. Be careful here, because like your team's gonna need you to be on the point at some point. I don't know who's gonna win this. Oh no! The right in front of your face Bastion ult. Oh, that's always the worst. Okay, well that was a defense that you played. That was certainly a defense that you played. But this is what I was talking about when it comes to like when you play these very snowball heavy comps, right? Is what I'm talking about here. Or not snowball heavy comps. When you play a map like King's Row that can snowball. Snowball basically means that they just constantly keep getting one pick after one pick after one pick. Your team comp doesn't have the ability to really play like you were playing like a Rhine comp or like a Sigma comp here or a Zarya comp. So at that point, what you have to do is you need to make their team have to turn around more, right? And I'll, even as I've learned Doom, like I do this sometimes too, you're trying to just like fight their tank a little bit and keep their tank at bay. But in reality, you need to have their team stop from being able to just stare at your team and go in, which might mean that you might feed into their backline and they might get you. But what's going to be a better result for your team? Your team being able to trade that and actually win a team fight, or just you going back to spawn over and over again with your team because you're not going in and having them turn around. So, you know what I'm saying?
This is your warning.
That was a play. Okay, so mechanics are there. Decision making, not there yet. There's been some good decision making. Also, and this is another thing with Doomfist, it's okay to like take like a few extra seconds to set up. So, and I'll pause for a second to kind of say what I mean, like, with that. When you take time to set up as Doomfist to get to a spot that's ideal for your, like, to make a play, either two things happen. The other team forgets about you and is like, okay, we'll deal with Doomfist later, which is good for you because you can make the play you want, or they overreact to you going up on, like, a high ground or setting up for a play and start getting distracted, right? Or you just stand in front of them. Out of those three options, you standing in front of them is exactly what they're hoping you will do, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what I mean by that. You have to have the other team to react to how you're playing, not just by standing in front of them like you're playing Ryan. And you'll see what I mean. I've slowly learned that with Doom, is that the more and more I take the tank 1v1 and just sit there, the more it gives them time to make a play. That right there's fine, by the way. Like, that there's fine. It's more when you just stand there in front of the Orisa and go, hello, how you doing? Like, this is good. Their team has to react to you now. This is what I mean. Like, that's a good play. You're not really hard focused on their tank. See? That's good. That's what I'm referencing, right? Do you see that? You're still close to the Orisa, but you're making them have to react to you making a play. Like, rather than just being like, hello, I'm playing Doomfist like Reinhardt. Give me ult charge, please, so I can ult into the back line and get 2-shot. Oh, that was the second time you almost went off the map right there. Want to know something? I'm still fine with your decision making there. You prioritize making the other team have to concentrate on you rather than, like, trying to peel back on an ult and Orisa. You see what I mean? Like, sometimes you have to go for that trade and, like, make them have to make a play on you. Yeah, it didn't work, but when you play like that sometimes, that's going to allow for your team to make a play. Now, I'm not saying dive into their backline every single time, but find ways to make the other team be able to focus on you without them just rolling you. Okay, but what if you get counterpicked by a whole team? I mean, at that point, I mean, see, like, I usually will have, like, a rotation of heroes I'll play based off of counterpicks because, like, counterpicking and tank is just something. So, like, I'll probably switch at that point. If you're playing against counterpicks and you only want to play that hero specifically, then, like, obviously at times it can be difficult. You have to really adjust your play style around that counterpick a little bit more. And there's probably ways you can find that. Like I said, like, I mean, even now I see really good Doomfist players popping off on ladder, and they're going up against, like, Orisa, Bastion, Sombras. You know what I mean? Oh.
I have eyes on a sniper.
We're not bad. Yeah, your team's getting rolled right now. I like you going for the Widow, though. This is fine. Other team's peeling for you, but they have to look for you. Your team already died, so, like, there's nothing you can do about that. But, like, you know, it's fine. I mean, you're not just sitting there on the front line, which is good. The Widow didn't care one bit. I mean, honestly, half the time as Widow, you have to just do that. Because, like, what is the Widow going to do? Turn to the Doomfist and, like, do 2 damage to a block and Doom and then get rolled because they punch you at the right timing? Like, honestly, that's what a lot of Widows do. They'll be like, you know what? Let's just hope for the best here. As I say that, see? Excuse me? Listen, look at the comp they're running. If you dive into their backline like that and you have no real escape, you have a Bastion in turret form. That's what I mean about how it's okay to get, like, distract them, but you're just going in front of a diva and then they're just able to shoot you like that when you run away. You see what I mean? Like, you need to go for, like, you need to set up at that point. Get to a setup spot. Even if you go up here, make the diva peel for you and then get out, but, like, they have to react to what you're doing at that point or you can make plays. If you just, like, run right in front of them, you're gonna get rolled. You have plenty of time here. Plenty of time to set up, to not go in yet. Actually, they're not healing their cast. You're fine. Never mind. I was going to say I wouldn't go in there, but then they decided there's just no support there healing the cast. That actually ended up being a good play. Good job. Good save by your Lifeweaver. You still got rolled, but, like, this kind of goes to the point we're talking about. Now, I was a little bit confused as to why you, like, slowly walked into the health pack room and, like, you basically had to use your ultimate there. You could have probably gotten out and then rotated around and played a little bit safer, but it worked out. But this goes back to the point where you were in their back line making plays, and then your team won even if they got you. And this is what I mean about creating that kind of, like, it creates that, like, backline pressure on the other team to where they have to turn for you, otherwise you'll pop off, and if they do turn for you, your teammates can pop off. You know what I'm saying? You just got remec'd on. It happens, okay? Yeah, don't go for that. I'm gonna be honest with you, that's a smart decision not to go for that. It doesn't make sense to go for that there. Nice right click. The part that confuses me about the play was the going up high ground part I liked, but then you wanted to go to their side right in front of them, which it just feels like you were... Ooh, nice play. That's 2 off the map. Wait a second. Wait a second. Damn. Nice boop. So just to talk about what I noticed is that you need to start setting up more, like straight up. You just need to start setting up more and be willing to kind of like cause pressure on their back line rather than just playing on the front line as a tank. And like also think about the spot you're setting up on. Like you went up on the high ground. I liked that. I was like, okay, I like this. A little bit of a setup. Give some time. Get some like, be on the high ground. You can drop down if you need to and then right click them and then jump out. But instead you jumped in, used your right click. You were stuck there. They saw that you were there. You were able to cancel the high noon, but then you were in the spot where like you couldn't really do anything and you were trying to get your ultimate. But like that's where you overuse your cooldown. So start to focus more on like they're making the team have to turn for you, and then the moment they do, either make a play, block, or just get out, and then do that again. And the more that you do that, the less they're focused on your team, and the more that your team can now pop off. I think your mechanics are pretty good, right? Like, you have a generally good understanding of how you want to use your mechanics. Now, if you up, like, the decisions you're making in-game, I think you'll start to climb even more out of silver. That's what you were kind of talking about with this game and how, like, all this. So that's what I noticed. I think that's a good way to look at it. Improve on that, I think you'll climb. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Sub to all the YouTubes, all 3 of them if you haven't. If you want to send in your own spectating, if you look in the description below, my Discord's right there. Also, we record these all live on stream, so follow the stream, stop by the stream, all of that. We have a ton of fun here. With that being said, hope you all have an amazing day /night.